We've been talking about authors and illustrators. We know that authors are the people that write the words in a book, and illustrators are the people who draw or create the pictures in a book. An illustrator is a job that you might actually be able to get when you become an artist. So artists sometimes become illustrators for books. We've been focusing on Carle, who is an illustrator for very many books. He's a very good illustrator. He's very successful. He's created the artist who could paint a blue horse, or the artist who created a blue horse. And he also wrote The Very Hungry Caterpillar. We are going to be using tempera paints. Tempera and acrylic paints are a lot like each other because they both dry very quickly. Oil paints dry very slowly and take a long time, sometimes even months to dry. But tempera and acrylic paints dry very quickly. Carle uses acrylic paints in almost all of his drawings. He paints all sorts of things onto a picture and then cuts them out to create his picture. So he doesn't paint directly to the horse. He would have painted onto several different pieces of paper and cut them out and created the horse. We're going to try to get a look that looks like Carle's. We're going to be focusing on our primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. Those are our primary colors. Out of red, blue, and yellow, you can make all the other colors. You also have black and white, which are our neutral colors. I want you to start off by getting two different colors on either side of our paintbrush, like a red and a yellow. What color do you think red and yellow make when it mixes together? I want you then to paint it onto your paper. It could be anywhere. Kind of blend them together by going back and forth, and you kind of start to see what color you get when you mix red and yellow. Now, red is a very strong color, so sometimes you need a little bit more yellow to see that red and yellow make an orange color. I'm going to get even more yellow, so I have a lot of yellow, and I'm leaving the red there, but I'm creating an orange with that red and yellow. There's different ways to mix colors. You can use a painting knife or a palette knife to mix the colors thoroughly so that it's all one solid color, or you could do it directly onto the paper like we're doing today. Today we're just kind of experimenting with the colors the way Carle would. So now I'm going to get two colors again, and we're going to put that somewhere down on the paper. We're going to kind of mix around. I might come here, and then I might come over here, and I'm just going to kind of play with that. After I've put down the color though, I want to take my toothpick, and I'm going to act like Carle, and I'm going to scrape some designs into this paint. I might put dashes or swirls. Then I'm going to set my toothpick down, and I'm going to get another color. I'm going to go back with the yellow, and I'm going to get a little bit of blue this time. Yellow and blue make a green color, but since I have so many colors, it's kind of getting a muddy color. And so I could use a new paintbrush, or I could switch with someone that has a clean paintbrush, or could wash my paintbrush off. Today, you are only going to have a couple colors. You'll have a couple colors onto your paint palette, and you'll use those, and then you'll set your paintbrush down so that we can have a clean paintbrush. And we'll share those paintbrushes. I'm going to go back with my toothpick, and I'm going to scrape some designs into it. That's something that Carle does that's very interesting, that's a little bit different than some other artists. I know that a black and a white typically make a gray, but since I have other colors on my paintbrush, it might not make a very good gray, but that's okay. I'm going to go back with more white. I'm going to create these colors here. I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to create maybe some waves. I'm going to paint my entire paper, being careful not to get any on the table around the edge. Also, as an artist, I am holding my paintbrush a little further back and about like this here, holding it kind of like a pencil. There's many different ways to hold the paintbrush, but today we're just going to hold it like a pencil. I am standing up. I'm making sure my stomach is not leaning onto the table. I want to take a step back. I'm standing up, my chair is pushed in, and I'm making sure not to get any paint on myself or my smock, my apron that I have on. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to add some more colors in here just like this. I'm going to maybe try to make a little bit of purple and some blue. Now I'm going to go back with my toothpick. Gonna add some designs, maybe some cross hatching. Making sure to get all of the white space. Going back with my toothpick and finishing it up. Okay, now that I have this finished, I'm going to clean my paintbrush and clean my paint palette. If you only had a couple of colors, then we will pass our paintbrush before we finish our painting like this. Once we're finished, however, we will flip it over. This is one that I've already done, and so I'm going to move these wet paints out of the way. Careful not to get the paint on myself or my clothes. I'm going to use my scissors. My scissors I can use with my big hands. Even with my big hands, I can use these little scissors. And I'm going to flip my paper over and I'm going to start to cut out my horse or whatever animal you have. Now, you want to go very slow. This is not a race. We want to cut nice and neat. We want to get at all of the little designs. We don't want to cut messy. We want to make it look really nice. So once I get up here, I'm going to stop and I'm going to come from the bottom and I'm going to come back up here just like this. Remember, this is not a race. We want to take our time and go really slow, making this look nice and neat. Okay, once you're finished with that, then we will have a finished piece that will look like this. We'll glue it down and then we'll even add drawings on top of this.